Welcome to class tonight. Tonight is a beginner's class. Why? Because you have asked for it. So we're here to please. It's me and Marilee on the mat again, and we're excited to give you, say maybe like a 50-minute beginner's class. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I personally, when I'm starting out with yoga, always like to give myself the gift of closing my eyes for a moment, just taking a few breaths. So how about you close your eyes, close your mouth. We're going to try and get in Ujjayi. I am not an Ujjayi breathing expert. However, I do breathe Ujjayi relatively well, and I find it to be extremely calming. So Ujjayi, and you can look it up, and you can study it on your own, but I'm going to tell you right now, Ujjayi is an opportunity for you to fill your lungs, an opportunity for you to expand through your rib cage, an opportunity for you to breathe in fully exhales and breathe out fully exhales. So it's really a nice way to give yourself that moment of not breathing shallow, because we're running around all day, we're in shallow breath most of the time, we're busy all of the time. So just a little bit of presence in your breathing goes a long way. So Marilee right now, she's seated in a position where she feels comfortable. You can sit any way you like. You could be in half or full lotus. You can sit back on your heels. If it doesn't feel good to sit on your feet, find a place that does feel good. And with your eyes closed still and your mouth closed, we're breathing through that little horseshoe shape. It's called the glottis, and you could put your 2 fingers on it by your throat, and it's an audible breath. So if you were in a room with a bunch of people, you would hear the sound of their breath. You would hear this oceanic sound. Don't get too heady about the breathing, because what I find is when you're thinking about it too much, you're not able to get the full inhales and exhales that feel good. So you'll get it over the course of time. What a lot of people don't think about doing is letting all of the air out. So I like to think that once I take in as much air as my body wants to take in, and it feels good and full, on my exhales, I try to remember to let every little ounce of air out before I flip it into the next inhale. So it's not a forced breath. You feel calm there from that? It's nice and calming. Yeah. And then let's bring ourselves into child's pose. Here's another opportunity to feel good. So you're just going to bring your knees. You're going to start at the back of your mat, and you're going to bring your knees as wide as it feels good to start with. So if it doesn't feel this good to open your knees this wide, if you're brand new to yoga, then I want you to think about, oh, they feel better closer? Fine. Don't get heady about it. Just what I want you to do is I want you to separate them, because we are trying to find some length and some space. And, eventually when you do the practice, 3, 4, 5 times a week, I'm hoping that you'll do that. When you do that, then you'll start to open up more. And as you open up more, the next time you get on your mat, your knees are a little bit wider, but it's not a big deal. Marilee's able to have the top of her feet relaxed in the floor. You might be on the balls of your feet. I suggest if you can relax them, let them go, because if you're on the balls of your feet for a little while, sometimes you'll wind up getting a cramp. And if you do, just shake it out, foam roll it out. That's another moment of a video that I have up there, the foam rolling video. I want you guys to be doing this, especially if you're just starting out. I want you to be foam rolling along with. So grab that it's 6 minutes. Grab that foam rolling video and foam roll yourself out sometime throughout the day. It doesn't have to be right before yoga, but at some point, do that so that you're feeling like you're not getting tight in places, you're not feeling it in places that are kind of making it feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do it the next day. So we're here, we're breathing Ujjayi. We're going to try and breathe Ujjayi from now until the time that we finish class. Marilee has her arms forward. If you wanted to, you could drape your arms, your elbows around your knees. Yeah, and let your shoulders fall forward. Maybe that feels better. You can always put a little towel under your forehead if that doesn't feel good. So if you have questions as we go along as to, oh, well, this doesn't feel comfortable or whatever, get yourself in something that feels good. But if you have questions, send me a comment and I'll write you back. So Marilee likes to keep her arms forward. I personally like them forward too. And what I like to do is I like to just start to walk my fingertips out towards the front of your mat. And what's nice about that is as you press your palms down and you can feel your knuckles press into the floor, I want you to lose as much air under your hands as you can, because I want you to get grounded. And also that's going to give you some leverage, right? So grip your fingertips into the mat and then continue to walk them forward, and you'll feel a nice pull on your shoulders. We're just lengthening through the shoulders right now, and we're not even warm, so just know that you don't have to go so far that it's uncomfortable. We're looking for a place that feels good, so it's a nice little pull. And then we're going to relax a little bit through your seat. So if your butt's high up in the air, see if you can drop it down and release it. And then all we're going to do is we're going to lift the head and chest up, and we're going to walk the upper body to the left side. So go ahead and walk yourself over as far as you can go to the left. Again, that feels good for you. Let your head drop. Now we're going to create a little length, right? So now we can feel it from that right shoulder along the right rib cage. And while you're there, you're just searching, little search party. We're sending it out. Oh, let me keep reaching the fingertips. Let me keep pressing the palms down because it feels good, right? Maybe you want to take a big breath in and then an exhale, drop it and feel a little more pull, or walk it a little bit more to the left. Everything that we're doing is just all about what feels good for your body. We're going to lift up and we're going to take that all the way over to the right side. So go ahead and walk yourself to the right. Find the reach, extend through the fingertips. We're lengthening from that left hip now up into the rib cage to the left shoulder. Fingertips are reaching and you're breathing. So a big breath in. I like to lift my chest because I feel like I can get more air in. And then I like to find a strong exhale and let my chest drop down towards the floor. And then I reach my fingertips. It might be different for you. Maybe you like to just let your head drop the whole time and you're not taking full inhales and exhales. I like to work with the breath because I find that every breath we get an opportunity for something, right? So if you're taking that inhale, it reminds you, oh, let me lift and lengthen and create a little more space. We'll bring the upper body back. And then we're just going to come up onto the hands and knees. So go ahead and bring your wrists under your shoulders. And we're going to spread the fingers as wide as you can. And the reason why we're doing this is because, first of all, we're stretching out through the little muscles in the hands. And we're doing a lot of hand work now. We're, on computers, we're on devices all the time. And so you want to just open that up, stretch it open. We're joint stacking. So Marilee's got shoulder, elbow, wrist on top of each other, right? Nice and safe. She's exaggerating a little bit through her seat, so pushing her butt bones to the back wall. Let's come up onto the toes. So whatever is going on with the balls of your feet and the flexibility in your toes, just do whatever feels good. Marilee's working with a little bit of a toe injury, so she may not exaggerate so much on the balls of the feet. But if it feels good for you, open up through the arches, right? It's nice to feel a little stretch in there, because how often are you in this position? How often do you get to do this? And now all we're going to do is we're going to push the chest away from the floor, and we're going to, Marilee's already in it, turn the elbows to the back wall, right? So a lot of times we see elbows out to the side. I want you to think about turn them to the back wall, engage through that tricep. So use that arm. We're pushing the chest away from the floor. And we're just here breathing. So it's just a feel good, right? Let's look out in front of you. Find a little length and find a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, we're going to round up through the spine, release through the toes, and bring the belly button towards your face. This is, some people know it as cat-cow. I don't get real involved with the names. Let's breathe that in. Come up onto the balls of the feet. Open the shoulders. Full breath in. Exhale, round and tuck it. This is on your breath. Tuck it all the way up so you can feel a little stretch in here. Let's do two more. Inhale, we're up on the toes. We're finding a little movement through the arches of the feet. Exhale, round and tuck it. We're in the lumbar. Let it feel good. Push yourself away from the floor. One more time. We're on the balls of the feet. Breathe it in. On the exhale, round and tuck it. Let's stay here. So stay here. That doesn't mean hold your breath. Let your breath flow, but we're still tucking. We're still rounding up. And we're going to say an easy no. We're just going to turn the head side to side. So that no is just to get inside and make sure that your cervical spine feels good, right? No tension, no stress inside of the neck. Then we'll say an easy yes. So as you lift your head up, find a breath in, and then tuck it, lift it up. We're still rounding, so Mare's still in this rounded position where we're stretching through the whole length of the back. One more. Beautiful. And then let's find child's pose again. So maybe that's a lot. Maybe that feels like it was a lot for you, right? A lot of movement, a lot of different ways to move your body, and you're just going to come down into child's pose. Child's pose is home base. That's where you're going to come 20, 30 times in an hour that we're here together, in 50 minutes that we're here together. Please know that child's pose is such a beautiful space to be. It's where you're going to drop down and just regroup for yourself. So anytime, it doesn't matter, especially in the classes as we get stronger and we're flowing through and we're moving in the intermediate and the advanced classes, child's pose right there for you. Boom. You're sweating, sweat's dripping down. You've been working for 35 minutes. Why wouldn't you take child's pose if your body wants it, right? Let's now walk ourselves into a downward facing dog. So if you've never been in down dog, sometimes it seems like it's a little bit awkward. It feels a little bit weird. We're looking for an inverted V. So I'm going to show you a few things in down dog. First of all, a lot of times, a lot of people come into down dog and they think they want their heels in the floor. So Mary, give them an example. A lot of people come right here, they walk their feet up, they get all jacked up in here. We're already jacked up. We're already sitting in chairs too long. We're already doing that to ourselves. So don't get yourself, we're already jacked up in the shoulders. Don't get yourself in this position where you're all crunched up in your downward facing dog. Down dog is elongation and length. So what I want you to do is step yourself out long. It's an inverted V, right? When your feet are up there, you're already almost that long anyway. So this guy gives you the opportunity when your heels are not hitting the floor, then you get a chance to actually really stretch out. You get that opportunity to lengthen from your calves down into your Achilles. So here's something that's interesting. If you're new to yoga and you're really tight in your hamstrings, super, super tight, I want you to bend your knees and bend them as much as you need to. So you can bend them a lot, you can have a slight bend in them, or you can have straight legs. There are no wrong poses in anything that we're doing in our practice. Nothing is wrong. You have one body that's yours, that's unique to you. Your body's gonna look different than Marilee's, mine's gonna look different than yours, and yours is gonna look different than anybody else's. So you're giving yourself the gift of maybe you need to bend your knees a little bit because your hamstrings are screaming. Well, we don't want that to be going on, right? We just want to feel a little stretch. So bring it in a place where it's a little stretch. Now let's talk about the upper body for a moment. I want you to get long. I want you to be on an angle from your wrists all the way up to your shoulders. If you're sliding on your mat, if your mat is slippery and you're sliding, then I want you to get one of those little towels that I'll show you later and spray some water down on it. We'll talk about that at the end of class. So hopefully you're not sliding. From your shoulder down to your wrist, if you had like a little Hot Wheel car and I put it up there for you, I want it to be able to go down, right? So bring yourself in a position, Marilee, where your Hot Wheel car would get stuck, where it wouldn't go down. Yeah, see where she's kind of jacked up? Then it would just kind of fall off the side. So think about that little Hot Wheel car wanting to find the length of its little road down, right? So, and the reason why we're doing that is so we can open up through the arms. Now, a lot of times men have difficulty opening here because they're really, really, you might be super muscular, they're really tight in the shoulders. So if that's the case, it's okay. You're just looking for your length right now. And it's gonna open up more and more, right? We're driving the sit bones up towards the sky. Now, I've been here for a while because I'm talking to you about it. Marilee has some endurance, so she can stay in down dog. You may have dropped into child's pose. Good for you. That's a beautiful thing. You'll come back in when it feels good, right? So here we are in downward facing dog. And now just bend one knee at a time. Let it feel good. You can move through the hips. We're just moving it a little bit, right? It's a feel good. We're alternating. We're keeping the heels in line with the toes. That's important. Don't let your heels slide out to the side, right? Don't let your toes turn in towards each other. Just straight on. Toe, heel, we're opening up. Here's another thing. If you have shoulders that are really your shoulders are really sore, your shoulders get really tired here, they're not used to being here, come down onto your forearms. So just one forearm at a time. We have a little half dolphin pose. So what's nice about being down on your forearms is that it takes that load off of being on the shoulders for so long. So you can come onto your forearms in a lot of poses that we're gonna do. So just remember, everything has a modification, right? Baby steps. Along the way, You might be in child's pose again right now. Awesome, love it. If you're not in child's pose, come back up into your down dog. We're just getting long here. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna walk your hands back to your feet, or your feet up to your hands. They might need to come together. You might need to bend your knees a lot to do that, right? But if it feels good, you can straighten your legs and get a deeper stretch. We're just gonna hang forward. So let's hang forward for a moment. Grab the elbows. Another thing to remember is, if you haven't been doing any yoga, hanging upside down might feel like, wow, there's a lot of blood that's rushing to my head, and that feels like there's a lot of pressure in my head, and I don't know, like this doesn't feel good, it kind of feels weird. So how about this? Drop your arms and let yourself roll up, but one vertebrae at a time. So we're just rolling up slow. We never come up real quick because then you get a little bit dizzy, and then you feel like, oh my God, yoga's bad for me because I get lightheaded and dizzy. No, not really. So we're standing up, we'll shrug and roll the shoulders a little bit, right? We'll get the pressure out of the head. And then let's just go ahead and reach the arms up to the sky. So arms are gonna reach up nice and high. We'll interlace the fingers overhead. We'll lengthen a little bit through the arms, through the triceps. We're just getting tall, and we're gonna lift up through the thighs. And then take a nice deep breath in. And as you inhale, I want you to stretch up as tall as you can. As you exhale, just reach to the left. And you're only gonna reach over as far to the left as it feels good for you. So it doesn't have to be so far. It could be half of where Marilee's going. It'd just be like a tiny little stretch over there. Come on back center. Let's breathe in. As you exhale, let's come to the right side. Reach it over just to where it feels good. And then we'll come back center, and we're gonna fold forward. Fold yourself forward. Walk yourself into your downward facing dog. We're nice and long. Now let's stretch your right leg up to the sky. Right leg is nice and high. So all we did was lift the right leg. This might feel like a lot for you. Bend your left knee if you need to. Right? You can always bend that left knee. You can also bring your left knee to the floor. Keep your right leg up. So you can lower that left knee down, and keep your right leg up. Here's a modification, right? You can walk your arms out, or you can come down on the forearms. Here's another modification, right? So if you're brand new, if you're absolutely like, this is so physical for me, and it could be so physical for you the first few times that you do it, that you're gonna modify everything to feel what I want you to feel. We'll bend the knee. We're gonna flex the toes, because flexing the toes turns that hamstring on, right? Flexion, we're getting active, and we're just gonna open up through the hip. So I just want you to peel back. And if you had a little flashlight on your right hip, I'd want you to be shining it to the sidewall. So Marilee's staying with that flexed foot. She's active, she's open. And she's just kind of pressing a little energy to breathe into that hip flexor. If you feel like you didn't need to come down into the modification, then you'll be here. So that left leg will be straight. Marilee's on her palms. Nice. So we're in a full down dog with a high right leg, and we're just opening up through that right hip. And then we'll drop that right foot to the floor. So that was the modification. You could do the same thing on the other side. Lift your left leg. Now, if you didn't modify, you're just gonna bend your knee, flex your toes, and you're gonna open up right here. Flex the toes in. Now, if you had a little flashlight on your left hip, we're gonna light up that sidewall again. We're just trying to, guess what? You might be lighting up the floor. So if you're really tight, your little flashlight might be down there. Just know that the goal is, we're just trying to open it up, and then eventually it'll be open at some point, right? But if it's here, that's great too. Maybe you're on your forearms and this leg isn't in the floor. Maybe just your shoulders are tired. So then you'd lower your forearms. Gosh, Marilee, she's just, she's on it. She's on it. I appreciate that, Mary. Thank you. Now we'll drop that foot. We're in down dog. And we're just gonna take little baby steps, tiny little steps. We're gonna keep the legs as straight as you can, and we're gonna walk your feet up to your wrists. So one little step at a time till we get to the front of your mat. At the front of your mat, you want your feet as wide as your hips. So just separate the feet, make sure they're, heels are underneath your hips. And then we're gonna drop your palms flat onto your shins. So here's an opportunity to straighten the legs. If it feels good, why not go for it? Straighten the legs and get the stretch. If it doesn't, you'll keep a slight bend in the knees. But what I want is, I want you to lengthen your back as much as you can. So while you're here, I just want you to lift and lengthen and push back through your seat and find a long spine. And then breathe in. And as you exhale, that's when you'll reach back and grab onto your calves and give yourself a nice little, it's just a very welcoming, nice little hug you're folding in. And then let's do that again. Find that length, breathe it in. As you exhale, forward fold. Dive it in tight. One more time. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, pull on it. Feel something. Then bring your fingertips right outside of your baby toes. So fingertips are outside of your baby toes. And again, I want you to think about the fact that you might need to bend your knees a whole lot to get there. Yes, you could be here, but you might be here. And then we're going to step back on the ball of your right foot. So this is just a nice runner's lunge. Now, here's the deal. This might be a lot, especially for some of you who are really tight in your hip. So you could bring that right knee down. As soon as you step back, you can have that right knee in the floor. If it feels good, keep it lifted, right? Go into the stretch, because now we're getting warm, the blood is flowing. So I want you to think about where your body is and how it feels. And make sure you're not shifting any weight into that knee. So a lot of times when we come here, I see a lot of people here, forward, knee and ankle. So what I want you to do is keep that joint stack, right? Knee and ankle right here. Make sure that you're finding that nice line straight up and down. And I can really feel this for myself in my hips, right? So you can widen your stance a little bit if you feel unstable. And then just shift your weight over to the right as much as it feels good. Oh, it feels good, right? You're letting gravity, it feels nice, right? Just letting gravity grab onto that hip, come a little bit to the left. Not so far, right? But more to the right. So brace yourself. Now, coming to the right, that might be a lot of body weight for you. So if you want to modify, you can come to the right with two hands. Marilee's going to stay on one, but you could come with two hands and you can give yourself, a little bit of help there, right? Where now you're down on your forearm and you don't feel like you have to put so much pressure on that wrist. And one more time, let's take it to the right. Very nice. And we'll come back center. And then all we're going to do is here's the deal. Marilee's going to step her right foot up so that her feet are hip width distance. Go ahead and step that back up, Mare. Yeah, right there. And roll up to standing. I'm going to show you. Sometimes it's not that easy to step that right foot up. So you can hop it up. You could take that back foot, hop it up a few times, right? Take it up a few times. Here you are. Okay, you're back to center. So just remember, you might have to take a few hops until you open up in your hips a little more. Roll the shoulders back. Okay, we're gonna fold forward. Fingertips are outside of your little toes, and we're gonna do that on the other side. So left foot, right, we'll step it back. I have my own toe issue. So my back foot, not so much gonna be exactly where it should be, but you get the idea. So we're here, make sure there's no body weight in that right side. And maybe you're dropping down and modifying on that, yeah. So Mare, show that, drop that left knee, yep. Now we're gonna shift to the left. So if you're with me, you didn't drop that knee, let it pull, feel it, and then come a little bit right, just a little bit, and then we'll go left again. Now, if it feels good, you can let it pull way down, right? You can really, really go far. If it feels like it's a little much, just think about where you are. We got two more. Let's go to the left side, left, and you can have that knee down if you want it down. You can have it lifted up if you don't. One more, we're going left. Very nice. And we'll come back here. And then we're gonna take that left foot and we're gonna take it up. Maybe you're hopping, maybe you're stepping it all the way. And then we're slowly gonna fold forward. So let yourself just fold there, nice. And then we're gonna heel toe the feet together. So bring the feet, the insides of the feet touch each other. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna slowly stretch your arms out to touch the side walls, reach out and come on up, nice and tall. Breathe in high. And then on the exhale, fold yourself down and come on in. So forward fold, I want you to think about this. This is something that a lot of people don't think about in their yoga practice. They fold forward and they just hang there. So forward fold and ragdoll are very different. Forward fold is intentional. I want you to warm up and I want you to use either your fingertips, and if your fingertips don't touch the floor because you're tight in your hamstrings, grab your ankles or your calves and forward fold, pull in. Because every time we do that, we get an opportunity to find more length in the back and the hamstrings. So that's gonna help you along the way. Find the lift halfway. We're gonna lengthen through the spine. step back. Now we're coming into a high plank position. High plank, for people who are new to it, is a very challenging pose. So what I want you to see is, this is a full high plank. Marilee's tucking her pelvis a little bit. Shoulders, elbows, wrists are stacked, right? She's on an angle from her shoulders to her hips, down through her knees and her ankles. This might seem overwhelming to you, so I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. What I want you to do is high plank, bring your knees to the floor, keep your hips flat. Here's a modification. So you could have already been in a modified during the time that I'm talking. But if you have never been in high plank, or you can't even, you don't have the strength to get into high plank just yet, here's what I want you to do. So we're gonna lift the knees, and then I want you to come into your down dog, Mare, and walk your feet back up to your wrists. So if you're with us, just come down onto your knees and watch this part. So we're here, right? Feet are together, so insides of the feet touch each other. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to step back. One foot steps back into the high plank. Now, bring that knee to the floor. Now step the other foot back. 2 knees are in the floor. 2 knees. Hips are flat. Yeah, so you can come right in it from there. And that's a really nice way to not even have to lift both knees. But what I want you to try, because it could be a little scary sometimes, so don't be intimidated. What I want you to try is, if you did do the one knee down and then the other, all I want you to do is try to lift your knees up and come into high plank. Try to lift them, yeah, just a little bit. Oh, so even if it's just for a few seconds, you're getting stronger, right? You can lift and lower it at any time. We're in a high plank, or you're in a modified high plank. We're gonna stay right here. And we're breathing, we're driving the chest away from the floor. We're gonna come into a chaturanga, not yet, because chaturangas are definitely intimidating. I certainly was intimidated when I did my first chaturanga and my 40th chaturanga. So just know, chaturanga is a strong, strong pose, strong exercise. So on this one, we will modify first. Knees are gonna come down, hips are gonna stay flat. Now here's the goal. We're gonna lower down without shrugging our shoulders, and that's a hard thing to do. So I want you to think about keeping your shoulders away from your ears, tuck in your pelvis. Now all I want you to do is bend your elbows and lower your shoulders down in line with your elbows. And I know that sounds like, oh my gosh, it's so easy, because Mare's lifted and there's a lot of strength that's going into the core here. So Marilee, push yourself back up. So if that was not working for you, here's what we're gonna do. As we bend, we're gonna bring the belly to the floor. So bend this, but I want you to keep the shoulders lifted. Bring your belly down, or shoulders in line with the elbows, just not so far forward. Yes, here. So now we let the floor take the weight, right? But we're still working that shoulder, elbow, wrist joint stack so that you're not jamming forward. Now, Marilee, bring your shoulders towards the mat. Yeah, I don't want you to round like that. So if you can push yourself away. This is a lot of work, actually, especially if you're just holding it. Chin is gonna stay neutral, top of the head is shining out, so she's not straining through her neck. Do you feel the work in this, Mare? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so even this is work, 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 and she's got her belly in the floor, right? So if you feel like, oh, it's, you know, I can do a little bit more, certainly lift your hips and keep those elbows tucked in here. But if not, your belly can be in the floor. Yeah, and then we're gonna find a modified up dog. So knees stay in the floor, relax the toes. We're gonna straighten the arms, come on up. Strong, straight arms. Bring the shoulder blades back together. So there's no shrug here. Chin is neutral. And a lot of these yoga poses, people you'll see in yoga poses, what is happening is it looks real pretty to come into, Mare, stay there and breathe in your up dog. And you could take a break if you're watching me, but it looks real pretty to put your head back in your upward facing dog. And you'll see that a lot, even in photographs. I'm asking you not to do that because it's not good for your cervical spine over and over and over again. I'm asking you to keep your chin neutral. And I want to make sure that you're not shrugging your shoulders. So you're not up here, right? You're pushing away. and bringing your shoulder blades towards each other. So you got to use triceps. And then we're going to press from the knees to the toes into downward facing dog. So now might be a time where you're in child's pose. Maybe you dropped down into child's pose already. Maybe you didn't. If you didn't, stretch your right leg up to the sky. If you did, hang out there and enjoy yourself. And then all I want you to do is look up through your hands and sweep your right foot until it comes through your hands. So Marilee scooched it a little bit, but you might do that little hop again, right? You might sweep it through and hop a few times and kind of grab that leg and bring it up with you. However you're going to get there, yes. However you're going to get there, you're going to get there, and that's great. So now we're back in that lunge. We're going to turn the back foot sideways here, and then we're going to touch the side walls and come back up. Here's Warrior One. Warrior One. It's a beautiful pose, and it's not easy. So if you're brand new, I want you to think about being back leg loaded. I want you to think about squeezing that back quad, driving energy through the edge of that foot. But I also want you to think, I am trying to bring my hips like headlights out in front of me. So that left hip, it really needs to be open in order to want to be able to shine kind of towards the front wall. So sometimes it'll just shine out a little bit, 45 degrees. That's great. Who cares? As long as you have a long, strong, straight back leg and you're letting that back leg take the load, right, to be nice and strong. Guess what? If you're tired, drop your arms alongside of you. Never bend that knee. If you're tired, let your arms just chill out, relax, shrug and roll the shoulders. If you're tired, straighten your front leg. Take a moment right here and just kind of relax. Like, I need a break out of that pose. It's too much. Come back in when you feel good. Bend that knee, stack it, reach the arms up, turn the pinkies in, right? Because there's electricity, there's energy, right, that we're bringing up through the fingertips. So that's going to bring the heat into your body where you're doing the work. We're also trying to find a little mobility through the shoulders. So your arms might be here. Mayor, stay there, but just bring your arm. Your arms may only have mobility to come right here. So what? Who cares? And then next month they're here, right? And then 2 months later they're here. And then 3 months later maybe they come here. So we're just looking to find a little bit of something for yourself, right? A little bit of something. This guy's doing a lot of work, actually. This front leg, and Marilee knows it because she's holding the poses while I'm just like yakking away. So thank God she's got the strength to do it. But if you're tired, straighten that leg again, right? Just take a break. Feels good. Come back into it when you feel ready, right? So that knee, that left knee is going to be stacked on top of the ankle. You want to make sure that your joint's stacking for safety. So we want to make sure that we're not jamming that knee forward. You don't want to jam your body weight forward over that ankle, right? And pressure into the kneecap. That's why we back leg load and joint stack here, right? We're doing the work. Gorgeous. And then we're going to reach up tall to get a little more space out of the rib cage. Breathe in. As you exhale, I want you to exaggerate. It's a fluid motion. Exaggerate reaching out to the front wall, but fluid. Lower yourself down, step back into your high plank. You could be in a modified. So I said that this was going to be a beginner's class, so you will be in modified high plank. If you feel stronger and you want modifications for the other stuff, great. Keep it high. Now Marilee's going to come into a full Chaturanga. You can modify with your knees down like I showed you. But if you feel stronger, catch a full Chaturanga anytime you can. Come on down. She's lowering down. So remember, your head moves a little forward to joint stack. We're going to find modified up dog. So bring the knees down, relax the toes, straighten the arms, pull the shoulder blades together. So modified, knees are on the floor, but the thighs are still squeezing, the glutes are still on. That protects the low back. You got to squeeze those butt cheeks as tight as you can. From the knees to the toes, we'll find downward facing dog. Here we are. Left leg is going to get high. We're going to sweep it through or scooch it through. Left foot lunges, back foot turns sideways, arms touch the side wall. So reach out, come on up. Here we are. So she's loaded in that in that right leg. Right outer edge of your foot is going to be pushing into the floor. We're squeezing through that right quad, but we're turning that right hip forward. Yeah, and we're just going to keep turning. And every body is different. So maybe your right hip is shining all the way to the front wall. Maybe it's still shining 45 degrees. Just don't have it be all the way out to that side wall. So I want you to try to turn it in. You're keeping that glute on. Glutes look good, young lady. We're stretching back. We're reaching through. We're breathing in. So right now, where could you let go? Relax through your face, right? If your teeth are clenched, release through your jaw. Give yourself a little break there. Where could you let go? Drop your arms down. Relax through them. Maybe interlace them behind your back and pull your shoulder blades together. There's no you have to do this or you have to do that. Find out what's working for you, right? That's the beauty of yoga, is that you can just manipulate and move through and change things as you feel good. If you still feel good, bring your arms up to the sky, because we're using some energy there, right? We're reaching, little pinkies are turned in. We got that guy going on. Guess what? If you're tired, what'd you do? You straighten that leg. Gave it a break. Maybe you're building up some lactic acid because your quads aren't used to doing all that work, and then come back in when you feel good. But this guy stays straight, so make sure that you're always pushing through the edge of that foot. You want to feel the energy through the outer edge of that foot. Guess what? If you're really tired, you know what you could do? You could pivot that back heel. You could square it off and bring your right knee to the floor if you're really tired. You could be right here. I'm taking a break. I'm not all the way down into child's pose, just taking a break. Maybe your arms drop down and you're just here, just breathing. Maybe you relax through your shoulders. Maybe you interlace your fingers behind your back. So many different ways that you can modify and give yourself a little love before you come back in. So now if you feel good, lift that knee first. Lift that knee. Yep. Then turn it. And then come on up into that warrior one. Big breath in as you exhale, reach forward, lower down, step back, pivot that back foot. Child's pose, let's chill out. Come on down and relax. Release, let it go, let yourself breathe. Very nice. And then let's press up onto the hands and knees. Bring the wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Let's come up onto the toes, so we're on the balls of the feet, and then we'll stretch your right arm out to the front wall, and we'll bring your left leg to the back wall. And go ahead and point through your left toes. Find extension through the top of that foot. And all I want you to do is straighten that left arm as strong as you can, so get your chest away from the floor. And remember, you're doing work here, so lift that left leg, lift that right arm. Lift it up, yeah. Bring some life into it, right? Bring vitality into it. Let's breathe in. As you exhale, I want you to round and tuck like the beginning. Elbow to the inner thigh, nose to the knee. Inhale, open it up. Find the reach, stretch it out. Exhale, round and tuck it. Pull it in tight. Inhale, open it up. Breathe it in, lift the limbs up. Exhale, round and tuck it in. One more time, breathe in, open it. Exhale, round, tuck it, hold it here. Let your breath flow, hold it here. Tuck it in tighter. 5, round it up more. 4, tuck it. 3, 2, bring your left heel to the sky. Reach back with your right hand and try to catch that foot or catch that ankle and just open through the shoulder. Peel back through the shoulder. Lift that back leg. Kick a little bit. So when you kick on it, you're pulling on that shoulder. You're breathing into that warm shoulder. Keep the kick on. You're using the ball of your foot for a little leverage so that you can kick stronger and feel it. Maybe you're looking down at your left thumb so that your chin stays neutral, right? Keep your neck relaxed. I like to do that. Keep lifting right here. 5. Yeah, keep breathing it. 4. It looks good. 3, keep the kick on. 2, slow and easy. Release that knee down. Thread that right arm under your left. Drop into your right shoulder. Let your left arm go where it will. So walk it out in front of you. Walk it to the upper right if that feels good. You can bring your left hand outside of your right hip. Maybe that feels better, right? You're working a little balance, but you're also using your right palm as a little leverage to roll back through that left shoulder a little bit more. And then press yourself back up onto your hands and knees and just round up. Take the hips a little bit side to side. Just move and find something that feels good for you. So you're just kind of moving through that low back. Yes, beautiful. And then come back up onto the toes. We're driving a little bit of energy back through the seat. Middle fingers are in line with your shoulders. So always remember, you want to make sure that you're finding that line up and you're bringing your palms flat to the floor. We're pushing the chest away from the floor, right? So there's energy here. And then while we're here, let's take a moment and turn your right hand, your middle finger, in towards your knee. If it doesn't go all the way in, who cares? Keep it out this way, keep it out this way, keep it out this way. So you kind of get the idea that nothing has to be exactly where we are. And then there you go, Marilee's moving into it. So now you're just gonna rock it back and forth and you're opening up. The most important thing here is we're doing so much with computers right now, so much with phones and with moving our fingers that our wrists get tired, they get achy. So we're just trying to stretch it in the other way. Nice, yeah. And then we'll do the other one. Turn that left guy in. Move it forward and back. Open it up. I like to peel my palm up even off the floor and separate my fingers. And that feels good. Do you like that? Inside of, it feels good inside the little muscles in your hands. That's a really nice one too. And then we'll bring it back center and we'll turn it forward. And then release your toes and just sit back and get comfortable. And then bring your wrists, kind of like in a figure 8, right? Where you're coming all the way up to the sky. Bring it up nice and high, just to feel good here. Open and close the hands. Move through the fingers here. That's nice too. And then why not pull it a little bit side to side while you're here? Because this one for me, I don't know about you, Marilee, but this one for me always feels good. It's just, you know, how often are you pulling up out of your, you know, ribs and up out of your back? So that's a nice way to switch that up. Now what I like to do is I like to reverse the stretch. So come back, find your toes, right? We're back on the balls of the feet. And just with your left hand, reverse the stretch. Don't put all your body weight into it, just as much as it feels good. And sometimes it's back here a little bit, right? So it's not even on the joint stack, it's a little bit on an angle. And that feels nice to just, and you can take that side to side, you can hold it as long as you like. Maybe take 2 on each side while we're here. Because if you're just starting out, Mary, you keep going. If you're just starting out, the wrists, a lot of times with my private clients, the wrists seem to be the biggest thing. Like, oh, my wrists feel weak, they feel achy, they feel tired. This is a nice thing to do. So if you're not taking child's pose in between some of the poses, maybe you're taking a little bit of this wrist flip or moving the wrists around in different ways. Okay, so now we're back on the palms and we're gonna go ahead and extend that left arm out, find the reach, left thumb is to the sky. We'll reach back with your right toes, extend it long, stay here. Now what I want you to do is straighten that right arm a little more, bring your chest away from the floor. So get active in it, right? The vitality of the pose. Now what I want you to do is lift your left arm and lift your right leg. Yeah, so there's energy in it. So we're not just kind of hanging out here, but we're working, right? We're bringing some work and some life into the pose. Keep lifting. And with that, we're getting longer. We're finding little bits, little opportunities to stretch through the shoulder, to stretch through that hip. We're still lifting them up. Find the breath in. As you exhale, round and tuck it. Tuck it in all the way. Inhale, open it up. Create the length. Yes. Exhale, round and tuck it. Tuck it under. Pull and feel. Inhale, open it up. Reach it. Straighten that right arm. Chest is away. Exhale, round and tuck it. One more time. Let's breathe it in. Open it up. Round and tuck it. We're going to stay right here. Let your breath flow. Round and tuck it. Tuck it up. 5. Take it tighter. 4. A little bit higher. 3. She's tucking it in for 2. Then go ahead and bring that right heel to the sky. Reach back with the left hand. Catch the foot. Roll back through the shoulder. Lift that leg. Kick up on it. 5. Breathe up on it, Mare. 4. Yeah. Keep kicking it, right? We're doing the work here. For 3, I want you to feel something. For 2, keep the kick. Keep feeling. Keep breathing. Own it. And then slow and easy release it. And come on into your down dog. We're in a long dog, downward facing dog. Right leg is gonna lift. Go ahead and take it up. Bend the knee and roll open. Press back through the heel. Look at this. Now you might realize that as we're doing it, you can keep that back leg straight. Or you might realize, wow, I opened a little more, my flashlight's shining a little bit more to that sidewall, right? And we'll drop that right foot. Left leg lifts, bend the knee, let's roll it open. Can you feel it? Hips are a little more open from when we started. Mary, can you feel that? We're pressing it back totally, just like breathing into the pelvis. And then drop that left foot. Ah, very nice. So just for fun, if you want to play around with it, bend your knees a lot right here. Bring your knees down a lot. You may be able to just do a nice jump. Jump your feet up to the front of your mat. Feet come together. A light little jump, right? Find that length through the spine. If that didn't feel good, don't jump it. You can always do the step that we do, right? So step back into your down dog. Let's come into down dog together. So if you didn't like that, all you're going to do is step up. Step your right foot up and then the left, right? Come on up. Feet are together. Find a lift halfway. We'll breathe it in. As you exhale, let's fold in. We're going to have a little fun with chair pose. So bend the knees and come on up. Ah, so we're in a seated squat, chair pose. Marilee has a very low chair pose. She's really got some strong quads and she's dropping her seat, but your chair pose could be way up here. Yeah, so maybe if you're just starting off with chair pose for yourself, so maybe you're gonna be just right here, and that's a lot of work. Maybe that feels like a lot of work, where you're just kinda taking a seat down, right? This chair pose, you could be feeling it at maximum. If you're not, keep sitting down lower, right? Keep trying to drop the squat. So what I want you to think about though is looking at your toes and making sure that your knees are not coming forward of your toes. So that's real important. Yeah, see that where her knees come forward and her heels peel up? So you don't want to be there. So I don't want you to drop so low that you can't see your toes. Just go ahead and look down and make sure you can see that all your toes are visible past your knees, and then you know you're in the right position. You're squeezing your thighs together. We're doing the work in the quads right now. We're tucking the pelvis a little bit. So we don't want to push your butt out so much that there's pressure on your low back. Find a nice neutral spine. Guess what? If you're here and you're tired, what are you going to do? Bring your arms down alongside of you. They can rest on your thighs. You could just rest them right there, right? Where you're not leaning and you're dropping that squat, right? And you're lengthening through your back and that feels good. And we're just doing the work right now. The work is just coming into that seated squat. There's the work, right? Can you feel it, Mare?
Yeah.
Can you feel it? So I'm making you stay for a while so that you can feel it and know that it's something this simple, that we're in a seated squat and gosh dang it, we're doing some work, right? We're squeezing and we're working and we're getting the heat to come up. And then if you're tired, stand up and shake your legs out, right? Like, what's wrong with this woman? She thinks we could stay here forever. Just stand up and be like, forget about it.
Okay.
If you feel good, stay in your chair pose because we're gonna have a little fun here. So chair pose, just let your palms come together. Bring your hands to the heart center. Find a big breath in. And as you exhale, I want you to bring the edge of your right elbow, just the outside edge of your right elbow. It's using the edge of the elbow to take the twist, using leverage to find the turn because we want to get that rib cage to rotate, right? We're not laying down on it, so we're not dropping the body weight in there. We're just finding an opportunity, sorry, Mare, in your right butt cheek. We're taking the opportunity to use the leverage just to turn the torso. That's so nice. It feels good, right? We're not straining in the neck, but we're doing some work. Drop your butt down lower if you want to work harder. Straighten your legs if you need a little break, right? So find out where you are and then come back up into chair pose. Find the reach. Bring the hands to the heart center. Breathe it in. As you exhale, edge of the left. Work the outside edge. Just to note, the kneecap, the knee wants to pop in front. So the left knee comes in front of the right when we're going this way, and the right knee comes in front of the left. I just want you to check in on your kneecaps and even them out. You know, you can just pull it back. You can see, Mare, show again, one more. So as you take the twist, when you're twisting, one knee pops in front of the other, right? You're just gonna pull it back, even out the kneecaps. Then let your seat drop. So if you wanna work harder, smoke the buns in, right? Bring them down low, smoke it, feel it, right? Squeeze the quads together, burn it. Mare's, she's crying over here. So if you guys aren't crying, something's not right. Let's come back into chair pose. Chair pose, I'm making her stay low, but you could straighten your legs if you want to. I'm just doing this to her because she deserves it. Forward fold, straight legs. Nice job. And then find your high plank. Very nice. Chaturanga, where's yours? Come on down. Maybe you're using your knees, maybe not. Up dog, we're gonna breathe in. So we're flowing a little bit now. Downward facing dog, we're gonna find the exhale. And that's a nice feel good. Let's stretch through the warm hamstrings. Right leg's gonna come up to the sky. Listen up, if you're just starting out, your left knee can be bent a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot, to walk your hands back to your toes. Mayor, show it with the bent knee. Yeah, if you can straighten your leg, phenomenal. Straighten your leg, why not? Now we're gonna play around a little bit here. So we're just gonna fold forward a little bit. Use your fingertips in the floor a little bit. Turn your fingertips back behind you and use them to feel the stretch. We're just gonna fold it, feel the stretch. We're gonna modify, which I don't think I've ever done so far. We're gonna modify an airplane. So what I want you to do now that you've got this little stretch, turn your fingertips back forward. Yeah, so Marilee, I'm gonna talk her through it too. We're gonna bring your right foot to the floor just lightly, and then I want you to bring your hands on your hips and lift your torso halfway up. Hands are on the hips, gorgeous. So here she is, hands are on the hips. Now, if I was doing this in an advanced pose, I would force you to not let your arms open up because that's gonna help you with balance. But since we're modifying, I want you to keep that right foot where it is and spread your wings out. So upper body is an airplane, right? We're lengthening. So all I want you to do right now is lift your arms up. Put the energy in the arms, yes. Keep your chin neutral, right? So we're looking out just a little bit, but we're not straining in the neck. We're lifting the arms up. We're doing the work here. Now, we're gonna use the core. We're gonna use the abdominals. If you feel stronger, what I want you to do is slowly play around with lifting that back leg up, shift the weight. Now maybe it'll come up and down, right? Maybe, just kind of play with it or try to get stable with it. Try and bring it up. Yeah, try and bring it up and keep it up. That's it, let's fly, right? We're pointing the toes back. We're an airplane, we're flying, we're turning that right hip down. So maybe your right toes are in the floor, maybe they're not. Let's fly here in airplane pose. For 5, we're gonna breathe into it. We're using that right glute, nice, Marilee. 4, we're driving down through the ball of that foot, so press down through your big toe. For 3, that looks amazing. For 2, bring 2 hands to the floor, keep your right leg lifted. If it's not up, pick it up. Walk a long dog with a high right leg. Right foot lunges, we're gonna stay on the ball of that back foot. Come on up, arms out to the side wall, Mare, touch the side wall. Here we are, we're in Crescent Lunge. This is Crescent Lunge. You can be here, you can also be here with that knee to the floor. If you feel stronger, pick that guy up. Let's do the work. Bring the hands to the heart center, press them together. Breathe in. As you exhale, take that twist that we just did, edge of the elbow. So again, Marilee's feeling stronger. Her knee is lifted. If you want to modify, you can bring your knee to the floor and keep it there the whole time. So here we are. For 5, we're breathing at 4. Now we're going to stretch it out. Left hand comes inside of that right foot. Right arm finds the sky. Reach up, roll open. Where the eyes go, the body follows. She's looking up to open back, to rotate. Rotation through that right rib cage. This left quad is working if your leg is up. It's taking a little break if it's down. So you can release it a little bit. Marilee's feeling stronger. I'm gonna make her lift it up. 5, 4, 3. What I want you to do is breathe in as you exhale. Reach that right arm overhead. Gorgeous, beautiful. Reach it overhead, breathe it. Elongation and length. For 3, let it feel good. We're creating the space, but we're still on the exhales, rolling open. For 2, that right glute is dropped down, so she's stretching through the right side as well. Square off to your high plank. Marilee, let's do a modified for these guys at home. Modified chaturanga. Let's come down. Knees, hips, lower it, even the belly. Let it all come down to the floor. Relax the toes. Modify the up dog, straight arms. Knees are in the floor, quads are in the floor. Beautiful. And then downward facing dog. We'll find the exhale. And then you can stay here in your downward facing dog, or if you feel stronger, shift into your high plank. Let's find a full chaturanga. So you're maybe staying in down dog. If you want, come here. Here's something that's a little fun, and it's not for beginners, or it is for beginners with knees down. So you could drop your knees, but you can have a little fun with some push-ups, down and up. So find a couple of push-ups. Merely staying in it with the shoulders and elbows. I want you to think about where your shoulders are. She's just doing some push-ups here. Why not? Because she can, because she wants to get a little extra work in. Maybe at home you're in child's pose. Good for you. Maybe you're going to join her and get just a few. Mary, you got 10 seconds if you can work it right here. She's taking the whole body. Maybe you're going to lift your knees up, right? So maybe you're doing full chaturangas because it's a good time. Chaturangas are fun. Chaturanga push-ups are more fun sometimes. Downward facing dog. Here we are. So if you did a bunch of those and you want to come into child's pose, come into child's pose. If you don't, stay in down dog and lengthen out and breathe it. Just stay here and breathe right now. Full inhales and exhales. Breathe in, exaggerating a little bit through the seat. Palms are nice and flat. Heels are naturally lifted off the floor. Maybe your knees are bent a lot because your hamstrings are real tight, so that's fine. Maybe they're straight because you're nice and warm now, so maybe that feels good. And then we're going to bring that left leg up to the sky. So hang tough with me, guys. Class is almost over. We're walking the hands back to the toes. We're going to turn the fingertips to the back wall, and we're just going to fold, using your fingertips as a little leverage. Just work your fingertips in the floor just to get a nice fold right here. Now, I like to say, the left leg is yours. Lift it up with you. Do the work. But if you're tired, drop your foot early. If you're not, keep it lifted if you feel good. Turn your fingertips to the back wall. To the front wall now. So turn your fingertips forward. Now, here's the deal. If you already dropped your left foot to the floor, great. You can keep it there. What I want you to do is I want you to think about lengthening through your back right now. That's all. So maybe your left foot's in the floor. Who cares? Yeah. Maybe it's lifted, and that's great too. 5, 4, we're breathing. 3. This is a modified version, so if your left leg is lifted this whole time, bring it to the floor. We're on the balls of the feet, right? Bring your hands to your hips. Hands are on the hips. Bring that whole right foot down. Square your hips, so manually feel yourself get your hips even, right? Hands are on them, we're gripping, and we're just gonna fly, upper body. So just like when we're in up dog, and we bring those shoulder blades back, a little up dog in your airplane. And that goes a long way, right? Because again, we're always around it. We're sitting at desks too long. We got to reverse it as much as we can. We're reversing it. That looks great. There's energy in the arms, so lift your arms up as high as you can go. Reach them because we're warm, so we're getting that stretch. Now play around with lifting that back leg. So maybe you're going to drop back on the foot a few times. Play around with trying to keep it lifted. How long can you lift it up for? Yeah, reach the toes back. Use your glutes, so squeeze your butt cheek as strong as you can on the left, right? We're flying. Mare, hips look great. Arms are getting high. Little up dog through the chest. We're in it for 5. Yes, let it feel right here. Feel it. 4. Even if it doesn't feel good, if it's burning and it's like, oh my God, I hate this, do that too, because that's good for you. 4, 3, keep lifting, keep feeling. For 2, 2 hands find the floor. Pick that back leg up if it's not up already. Walk a long dog. Sweep or hop it through. Left foot's coming through. Maybe you got to hop it a few times. Back heel's staying lifted. We're coming up into crescent. Reach the arms out. Open up through the warm shoulders, right? Turn the pinkies in. Stretch the arms back. If you were modifying, your right knee can be in the floor immediately. If you feel stronger, you're going to keep it lifted. Love it. Hands come to the heart center. Press them together so strong you feel the triceps engage, right? So you feel that press. It's not just like, oh, just hanging out. Every opportunity to bring something, bring it in there. Breathe in as you exhale, edge of the right elbow. We're coming to the outside edge of your left knee. We're going to turn through the torso. Maybe your right knee's in the floor. Maybe it's not. So you decide where you need to be right now. This is your practice. This is your class. We're here together. We're getting it done together for 5, 4, like a family, right? We're just doing this together like a family. 3, 2, right hand drops down, left arm reaches. Let's open it up. Yeah, we're looking up, right? We're looking up and we're rolling open and we're bringing that back and we're inside here and we're inside here. So Mare's whole left glute is getting an opportunity to stretch out. Let's breathe in as you exhale. We can reach it. We can go right here. Yeah. Imagine I'm with you right there. I'm going to grab that wrist. I'm going to pull you forward. I'm going to take you a little more forward. Breathe it a little more forward. 5. Nice. Keep that knee in line with your toes. 4, 3, 2. Phenomenal. High plank position. Nice job. Let's come all the way down to the floor. All the way down to the floor. Let it go. Relax. Release. Let your arms fall where they want to be. Alongside of you, out in front of you, out to the sides in a T, with them bent, wherever they just feel comfortable. Cheek to one side, right? Doesn't matter which one. Maybe you'll change your head in between. You're just getting nice and cozy right here. Relax. Release. A moment to breathe into the floor. An opportunity for you to get back into Ujjayi. Have you been in your Ujjayi breathing? Because it's hard to do that and do class and focus and do all this stuff. So who cares if you weren't in Ujjayi breath? But you can find it right now, right? Close your mouth. Breathe in through the nose, through the glottis. Full breaths. Can you get your heart rate to calm down and just find some deeper breaths? Full inhales and exhales. And then go ahead and press up just onto the forearms, Mara. Tuck your elbows in. Yeah, just right there. Just press to where it feels good, right? Now what I want you to do is squeeze your glutes, reach your toes back. Very nice. And then lift your legs up. See if you can lift your legs up off the floor. Yeah, we're trying to get your knees up. Your thighs are lifted. And we're using the glutes right now. We're using a little bit of the low back. For 5, keep reaching through the toes. 4, 3, for 2, and then we'll lower that down. And we're going to reach the arms out in front of you. And we're going to bring the balls of the feet into the floor. And we're going to look down at the floor. And we're going to squeeze the butt cheeks as tight as you can. And then just lift your arms up. Keep the toes in the floor, upper body lifts. Now lift your chest up. Lift your chest up off the floor. Yeah, keep reaching. If it's available, lift your legs up too. Here we go. Like Superman, right? Remember Superman? We're reaching out. We're lifting up. We're making the low back do some work. We're squeezing through the glutes. Let your arms get a little higher. Bring your chin in a little closer towards your chest so your neck stays long. And then let your legs come up. Reach your toes back now. Extend through the toes. You can drop down and relax if you need to. But if you don't, I want you to make your lower body swim. So bring those legs up and down. Squeeze through the glutes. Keep lifting the chest up. Guess what? If you're tired, drop your upper body to the floor and just let your legs keep going. Or stop the swim and just hold it for 5, 4, 3, for 2, and relax, cheek to the other side. So just change the head. Relax down, cheek to the other side. This is where someone should come in and give you a massage. That's just what I think is how it should go down. This is where you're like, is my masseuse here? Okay, let's turn over onto your back. Go ahead and turn yourself over and hug your knees up into your chest. Just grab your knees and give yourself a nice little hug. Find a little rock side to side. Just a little massage of your back into the floor. Very nice. And then drop your feet into the floor and your heels are in line with your hips. And we're going to cross your left ankle onto your right leg. Cross it over right here. Yeah, you got it. Yep, right here. And we're just pressing back a little bit through that knee. And then we're going to bring your left hand in that little space that's in between. Reach your right arm out. Pick this guy up. Grab that hamstring. Flex the toes in. Let it just feel good. A little pull back. Where do you feel this, Marilee?
Left glute.
Left glute, yeah. So get inside that left glute. Love it up. Pull it. And then while you're pulling it in, circle a little bit through your right ankle. Why not, right? Because we were just standing on it a bunch of times. So it's nice to just move it around. You know, if you hear any cracking in there, it's just air. We're moving it out of the way. No big deal. And then we're going to switch to the other side. Drop it down, cross it over, catch it, thread it through, catch on. Pull it back. Yeah, circle through that left ankle. Little mobility, find a little movement. It feels good. We're going to go into happy baby. So nobody cares if you can't catch your feet, catch your ankles. Who cares, right? If you can catch your feet, great. Stack your ankles on top of your knees. Pull your thighs outside of your rib cage. Find a strong pull here. Nice. So Mira, where do you feel this?
Outer thighs.
Outer thighs?
Inner thighs, both.
So
Both outer and inner.
Inner thighs. And what about hips? Can you feel
And
that in your hips?
hips, yeah.
Yeah, so as you're
And
pulling
hips,
down,
yeah.
go inside those hips, yeah. So if you just hang out here and you don't pull, you won't feel it as much in your hips. But once you start to pull down, yeah,
sure.
then you'll start to feel it. And then we're just gonna cross your left knee over your right. Keep your knees bent. Cross it over, drop your palms flat. Big breath in as you exhale. Guide that lower body over to your right side and let it drop wherever it feels good. Ah. So this is just a nice spinal twist. It feels nice in your back, right? All those movements that we were doing feels good to just, and then we'll come back center. We're gonna keep those knees bent. We'll reverse the cross right over the left. Big breath in as you exhale. Ah, guide it over, drop it down. Nice. And then come center and just get really long. I want you to straighten your legs, keep them in the floor, reach your arms overhead. Imagine if someone could just take your ankles and run one way, someone else gonna grab your wrists and come the other way. Just a nice pull because we're warm. It's nice to get long. Find a big breath in. As you exhale, hug your right knee into your chest. Grab that right knee. I want you to grab it and pull it up. And then you can move through that ankle again if that feels good, or let it stay relaxed. Hug it in real strong with your left hand. Grab your left hand on that shin. Reach your right arm over to the right. Let it drop to the floor. Big breath in. As you exhale, take your left hand on top of that outer edge and push it down. Because again, just like in Happy Baby, if you give it a little bit more of something, you'll feel a little more, right? So as you press it, and it doesn't have to hit the floor, right? We're not going for any has to be this or has to be that. It just has to feel good. So however far over it takes for you to feel good. So if you're doing yoga with a friend, you can have someone just kind of lean on you like this.
Super.
Yeah, see, because that really feels good. But, you know, we don't always have access to someone who's willing to just sit on your hip like that. But, you know, if you do have someone nearby, why wouldn't you? That feels good, right? I know, I'm always, when I get in these poses, I'm like, who's coming by? Who's gonna come by and press down on me, please? I'm over here.
Oh my gosh.
Nice. And then slow and easy, we'll come back and we'll catch that left knee, pull it up, give yourself a big hug, breathe in. As you exhale, take that right hand outside, press it, yes. Move it over. Can't do one side without the other. A little press here. What are friends for, you know? I mean, come on. See, Marilee's going to give me a press down when we end this class.
Yes.
She just doesn't know it yet. She's staying late. So just a nice feel good, guys. We're here just to move, get warm, feel good. I hate to say it, but now is like an amazing time to get on your trigger ball or get on your foam roller. But if you don't have the time, because who has a million hours to do all this self-love? It would be nice if we did. If you do have the time, grab it. Even get on it for 2 minutes. You know, sit on that ball. Come back center. If you don't, no big deal. Do it some other time for yourself. And we're going to just let it go. So we're going to come into Savasana right now. Savasana for you, let your legs fall out a little bit. So she's settling in right now. Marilee's settling in where she's going to move and get her shoulder blades to where that feels good. And let your shoulders drop back. And then the weight of your head drops back into the floor. I like to, where Marilee's going into, I like to turn my head a little bit side to side. And then I find that when I come center and then just let go, it settles in. Like the weight of your head settles into where it wants to just be its heaviest and drop back after I do my practice. And that feels really good for me. So what feels good for you and what feels good for me could be totally different. I'm just sharing the things that, those little tiny things that like, oh, wow, I really love that. And then you let your eyeballs roll back, right? Relax through your face, let your eyes roll back. Always important to release the teeth if they're clenched. So you don't want to be jamming down on your teeth and stressed in your jaw. Because a lot of people actually are grinding teeth at night, you know, so we're trying to just see if we can relax and let that go. Relax and release and let it go. Let the vertebrae drop down. So one little vertebrae at a time. You can feel your pelvis start to get a little heavier into the floor. I personally like to separate my feet a little wider because I feel like my pelvis then will drop a little bit more, and I can feel that a little bit more through my low back. Let the back of your knees drop into the floor. And we're here just letting go, letting all the work that you just did run through your body. And then give yourself the gift of saying a compliment to yourself. So it could be just one sentence, it could be bigger than that, but one sentence that's for you, from you. And I want you to think about it as if it's coming from your best friend. Think about it as if it's coming from someone that you know loves you so much. I want you to feel it like that. Find a big breath in. Let your chest come all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, take this opportunity for gratitude. So just a moment right here, I want you to think of 3 things. They don't have to be the biggest thing in the world. It could be something so little that happened yesterday. And just enjoy your gratitude right here. 3 things. You are amazing. You are absolutely amazing, just as you are. Give yourself a pat on the back because you did it. No matter how many breaks you took, you started class, you set an intention, you finished it strong. Beautiful work. Namaste.